Hello everybody, Raven Knight here. Thank you for coming to this video. Before we start, I want to say if I sound different, it's because I think I'm coming down with something. Got some kind of problem with my throat. It's not a big deal, but just wanted to let you know that if I sound different to you, that's why. So today's going to be a bit of a different video. Yesterday I released my response video to the One Piece live action adaptation trailer. And I've gotten a lot of comments. Now, I always read the comments on my videos, guys. Some of the comments in this video were positive and supportive, but a lot of them were critical and negative. And some of your comments were not just hateful. They were actually saying, Raven, you didn't know this, or Raven, this is something to consider, or Raven, maybe this is the reason for that. And I decided to do some research and look into it last night. I was doing a lot of reading and kind of checking up behind what you guys had to say. And guys, you know me. Well, maybe you don't, but if you do know me, you know that I value integrity, honesty. You know, if I make a mistake, if I say something wrong, if I lack information, I want to acknowledge it. I want to get ahead of it. I'm not too proud to admit when I mess up. And that's what I'm here to do. I want to address some of your comments. I want to, because here's the thing, there were a lot of comments, and going through each and every one of them and responding to all of them individually would be arduous and tedious at best. So I figured I would address your points here in this video. So here, this is me basically clearing the air. First of all, I've had a lot of comments saying that I came off as hypercritical and very negative to what is essentially a teaser trailer. That maybe I shouldn't be so negative to something this harmless and lacking in information. As one person put it, we don't know enough yet. Like, we haven't seen full scenes yet. Like, give it time. Let an actual trailer or, you know, the show come out before you start getting negative. And you know what? Fair point. Fair point. I may have been way too hypercritical from the offset. Now, I will explain why I was so hypercritical. For one thing, given the nature of response videos, criticism and being critical kind of comes with the territory. And especially considering the fact that this is a Netflix live action adaptation. And if you guys are familiar with Netflix and how they handle live action adaptations, they don't have a good track record. Cowboy Bebop and Death Note being the first ones that come to mind. Also, given the fact that they're in their most recent cacophony of errors, Netflix's Cleopatra documentary has ripped apart their credibility as a credible and trustworthy source of good content. Because of that, my initial reaction to seeing that they were really going forward with this was very pessimistic. Maybe a little unjustly so, I'll acknowledge, but I hope you can understand why I was so hypercritical. I love One Piece a lot. I think you could tell from the video. I love One Piece, and seeing Netflix make a live action adaptation of this when, one, they have a bad track record with live action adaptations, and two, when they are just coming off as very uncredible and very untrustworthy in how they release their stuff, I was ready to go into this as a critic. I was ready to be very angry at this. So that's why I was that way. Does that mean that I was right in everything? No, maybe I could have been a little bit more laid back, a little bit more open-minded. So I'll acknowledge that. But with that said, I'd also like to counter with this point. If it's wrong for me to be overly negative to what is essentially a teaser trailer without seeing enough of the show, it is equally as wrong to be overly optimistic and positive based on just a teaser trailer. I've seen a lot of people saying, no, dude, this is going to be incredible. You're just too negative. You're also being too positive, I would say. You're right. We need to see more of the show. We need to see what more it will offer. And with that said, I think it's too early for us to jump on any one bandwagon. So that's what I would say to that. Keep in mind, though, when the show does come out and I do watch the first episode, I will still be critical. That's not changing, because that goes into the next criticism. Lots of people have been telling me in the comments, hey, Raven, this is an adaptation. It's not a one-to-one remake. You can't expect it to be exactly like the show. And believe it or not, I knew that going in. I was aware that this couldn't be one-to-one. Could you imagine them actually taking some of the stuff from the anime and doing it exactly like that in the live action? It's impossible, and it's holding the show to too high a standard to think it could do that. There are some things you just cannot translate well from anime into live action, and I know that. I'm aware of that. That's part of the reason I don't think this needs to be made, for one thing, because, look, if you took something like maybe Spy X Family or Death Note if done right. Maybe a more down-to-earth, realistic style of anime and made that into live action, I could maybe buy it. But something as cartoony and goofy and wild and colorful as One Piece being made into live action, I'm sorry, I have issue with that because it's asking too much. But here's the thing that I do want to say there. Here's the thing that I do want to say. I can accept that there will be differences. I accepted that from the very beginning. But I don't want to use difference as a defense. That's the one thing that I don't want to do. For example, Halo was an adaptation. The Halo live action series, that too was an adaptation. But it was still of terrible quality. Now, that's not to say that One Piece will be just like Halo, that it'll be a terrible, terrible creation just by virtue of that. Not at all. It could be okay. But the reality is that just saying, oh, well, it's an adaptation, therefore it can be a little different, fair, that doesn't mean it's good. It can still be of poor quality even with difference. When I said that I wanted to see this be more like the anime, I wasn't saying that they need to act exactly like anime characters. I just wanted to see more of the characters that I'm familiar with portrayed better. Like I said, I didn't really see Nami portrayed the way I thought Nami should be portrayed. She didn't seem like the character that I was familiar with. Zoro didn't seem quite like the character I was familiar with. Luffy didn't seem quite like the character I was familiar with. Maybe they'll be adapted in a good way. Maybe I'm being too, like I said, too negative too quickly. But when I looked at this, I didn't see the characters that I recognized, and that put me off a little bit. So that's why I said what I did. I'm willing to acknowledge that this is an adaptation. There's going to be differences, and I'm okay with that, as long as I still see what is essentially One Piece in the final product, Which leads into the final thing that I want to talk about. Many people have pointed out to me that Oda was very closely involved in the production, and he gave it his seal of approval. Now, that is something I did not know. I knew that Oda had been consulted, but I did not know how involved he was. So I did some more research, I looked into it, and after seeing his letter, seeing an interview about it, I will now say that gives me some hope. I'm still nervous, I'm still anxious about the product. But the fact that Oda has given it his approval, and I trust Oda way more than I trust Netflix, that gives me some hope. I hope, truly, hand to God, I hope this adaptation is good, if not decent, okay? I don't think it'll be as good as the anime. I don't think it could be. Part of the reason why I didn't think it needed to be made, because I don't see you being able to do better than the anime. But if Oda has approved of it, if Oda is backing it, then you know what? Maybe it'll be worth something. Maybe there's some good here that I'm not seeing yet, and we won't see until the show actually comes out in August. So I really, really mean it when I say I hope that this does well. I do. I mean it. I even meant it back when I was making the response video. I love One Piece. I think you can tell I love One Piece. I want it to do well. I want it to still be beloved and wonderful. I don't want to see a medium, a story that I love ruined by anything, be it live action or what have you. So I really do want this to be good. Did I come off too negative? Maybe I did. Was I too quick to be hypercritical? Possibly. And does hearing Oda's involved mean that it makes me feel a little bit more optimistic? Absolutely. I'm still anxious. I'm still nervous. I don't know if I'm fully ready to jump into the bandwagon of this will be good, because I've seen Netflix and live action adaptations themselves screw up way too many times. Hi, Dragon Ball Evolution, when did you get here? But I'm willing to acknowledge areas in which I missed. I missed the Oda bit. I got a little bit too hypercritical. I'll accept those. Now, there are a few comments, though, that I do want to address in this way. I've heard some people say, this isn't made for you. This is a product not made for fans of the anime. I will respectfully disagree with that argument. If it was not made for fans of the anime, what is the point in making everything look like the anime? Why give Zoro green hair? Why give Nami a wig? Why do all the silly CGI? Why go to such lengths to make the sets look like they came straight from the anime? Of course this was made for the anime fans. That's part of the reason that Netflix wanted to do it, because One Piece is popular, One Piece has an enormous audience, and they want to capitalize on that. And no fault for them for doing that. I understand why you'd want to do that. But of course it was made with the intention of pleasing the One Piece audience. Hell, If they didn't care about pleasing the One Piece audience, why bring Oda into it? Oda knows One Piece better than anyone. Why would they make it for just new people? Because here's the thing, One Piece is one of those anime that either you love it or you don't care for it. It is such a unique and different anime. I've met people who say, I don't really care for One Piece, it's too long or too silly. And then I've met people who go, it's the best anime ever. Are you really going to ostracize all the people who only care about the anime? Of course not. You want them and the new people to come in and see it. And if you're one of these people who don't care for anime anyway or care for anime at all, why on earth would you watch a live action adaptation that has nothing to do with the anime? You know? So I'm sorry, that's a very poor argument. The other poor argument that I've heard is wanting these characters, this is a criticism of one of my points, wanting the characters to act like anime characters is cringe. I want to explain myself there. I'm not saying they have to act like anime characters in the same way that, like, oh, they widen their mouths too much or they just jump up and down wildly like Luffy did. Like, of course not. But what I meant was I want to see the characters still portrayed. Like, here's the thing. Whether you know Nami from the anime or not, whether you know her character from the anime or not, can we agree that Nami's delivery was kind of weak? I felt like some of the performances from the actors, Nami, Zoro, and Luffy, felt wrong to me. Now, does that mean that they have to act exactly one-to-one like those characters? Not necessarily, but I want to see some semblance of who these characters are and not just what they look like. Let's be fair. These guys, they got the look. They got the green hair. They got the orange hair. They even got the same clothing as the original characters. Good on them. Great job. But I want to see them be the characters too. So that was my criticism there. But let's take that logic to its extreme. Let's take it to its final conclusion. If it's cringe for anime characters to act like anime characters, by that logic, is it not cringe for Zoro's hair to be green? Is it not cringe to see a really bad CGI stretchy arm? Is it also cringe to call out the name of your attack? Isn't that also cringe? Look, this may be an adaptation from an anime, but there will be some anime expectations. And they've, honestly, if I could give some praise to it, they've done a good job of replicating some of that. But I want to know, where is the line drawn for cringe? That's my question. I'll end the video with this. I am more optimistic now than I was before. And I mean this when I say I want the show to be good. I really do. I'm very much hoping that it is at the very least decent. Something that I can at least go, it was okay. Probably didn't need to exist, but it was okay. That's what I'm hoping for at this point. But that said, I'm still anxious. I'm still concerned about it. I love One Piece, and I feel it's not something that can be easily adapted into a live-action format. And Netflix has proven that they lack talent to make that happen. As many people in my comment section have said, if you are jumping on the, oh, this is going to be so awesome bandwagon, did you forget their other failures? But I'm willing to acknowledge when I missed information and when I could have done better in certain areas. This video was obviously not my best work. Could have done better in some areas. I'll leave it up because even though I was wrong in a few technical spots, there are areas that I think I was right in, like some of my criticisms of the way that the characters delivered their lines and such. Also, I think that the video is a testament to how much I care about One Piece and how much I want to see One Piece exemplified in this show. But to those of you out there who were critical, and respectfully so, thank you for your criticism. It makes me a better content creator. It allows me to recognize when I make mistakes. So I thank you. Genuinely, I do. For those of you who were just being hateful and haters, know that I read your comments too, and I hope that I addressed what you had to say. I hope that we can make peace here. I hope that you guys understand where I'm coming from. Let's hope that on August 31st, I'm 100% wrong about my negativity towards the series. I genuinely do hope it is good. I hope at the very least it's decent. I just want to be realistic about it too. All right, that's all I had to say. I'm going to go lay down. You guys have a great one. I'll see you in my next video. Take care.